Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the North Central Washington MVP interview series brought to you by Career Connect Washington and the Apple STEM Network. My name is Carrie Horning. I'm a Career Connected Learning Specialist with the NCESD 171 and excited to be back today. Our goal, as always, is really to introduce our community partners to each other, be it business and industry, nonprofits, community service entities, educators, even just community members who are interested in learning more. And as I do each week, I'd like to remind you a win today looks like each of you leaving with a greater understanding of the work that's being done all around you in our communities and how you might even get involved to help out. So grab your lunch, sit back, and get ready for an extra dose of professional nourishment. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Sarah Vasquez. She's the Career and Technical Director and IT Director at Ephrata High School. Sarah and I have worked together since 2018, and I'm always amazed at just how much she does every single day. And it doesn't matter if I call her last second and I'm trying to pull together a field trip or do some long-term planning on an event, she's all in. And when I say all in, I really mean that, because at the end game, if the end game is supporting her students and her staff, there's no hesitation on her part. She's been teaching for 13 years, so hats off to you, Sarah. Thank you for doing that. She and her husband have 3 young kiddos. They keep busy with sports, watching the kids' sports. They do a little bit of horse riding. They enjoy photography. And as she was telling me all that, I was thinking, wait a minute, how do you even have time to do that? But I'm really glad you do, because I think it's really important to kind of, rejuvenate and refill our souls. So Sarah, welcome. Thank you for being our Career Connected Learning MVP today. Are you ready to kick this off?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. So you were raised in Royal City. It's a small town, somewhat similar to Ephrata. And you mentioned that your grandfathers were pretty influential in your youth. So both of them entrepreneurs. One, was a farmer, one an engineer with the Army Corps of Engineers. Tell us how they influenced you in the path that you've chosen.
Okay, thank you, Carrie, for that introduction. I was raised in Royal City. I lived in Ephrata for the past 16 years with my husband, and I've been at the district for 16 years. I taught for 13, and this is my 3rd year as a full-time district career and technical education director. And when you start to think about your why and where you're at and what is your purpose, I think sometimes you have to think about where you came from. And I come from a family that has a wide variety of educational backgrounds and represent a wide range of industries, including agriculture, education, manufacturing, businesses, and engineering, and not just my grandfathers, but close family and extended family throughout the Columbia Basin that have successful businesses or farms. But my paternal grandfather graduated from Gonzaga and was in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers as a structural engineer. He worked on the Snake and Columbia River dams and other projects as far reaching as Saudi Arabia. My maternal grandfather, Clarence Schwab, was a German immigrant that farmed in Stratford, Washington. And you can see that both of them have almost opposite type of education, but both of them were highly successful and could engineer nearly any project. My grandfather, who was a farmer, could build anything with his bare hands and a few materials. Both men lived honorable, productive lives and created a lasting legacy of hard work. So growing up, I witnessed these different varieties of work and educational paths. And as a CTE director, I believe that students should be able to choose the path that is right for them post high school. We're entering an era where we're kind of moving beyond the college for all mentality into, it may be a 2-year or maybe 4-year. But that career and technical education is an honorable path. It's not a lesser path, and it's a great pathway. And that can mean college as well. So I'm just why I'm here, where I came from. I'm about creating opportunities for students, and it's an exciting place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see the influence from your family, what they've done, as you grew up, and as they, created their families here in this area, really played a role and influence on you for the CTE. I think it's perfect, which is why I wanted to include that, because it's a really great, I think, segue into. You are now in charge of CTE and IT at Ephrata, and this program that you have at Ephrata High School it's vast. There are so many different offerings for the students, and I think that's where we're probably going to end up spending the bulk of our time today. So I really wanted to see if we could get you to talk to us a little bit about the detail of the different courses that you have, and maybe even we might need to back up just a minute and say first, what does CTE stand for? And then dive into what are the classes that are offered at Ephrata High School, and let's talk about those a little bit.
CTE stands for Career and Technical Education, and at the Ephrata School District, high school and middle school, we have continued to just grow exponentially over the past couple of years to meet the demand. Students looking for a hands-on, relevant learning opportunity where they can gain skills, in some cases, certifications, and also college credits. And EHS and the middle school, so Ephrata High School and the middle school, offer classes in what OSPI defines as 6 different program areas. So they categorize them across the state in these different areas, and that includes business and marketing, skilled and technical, family and consumer, health science, STEM, and agriculture. And we have classes in all of those program areas. Our high school program is the biggest program compared to the middle school, because students are really starting to build their what is called a high school and beyond plan, which is a state graduation requirement, but taking classes that can fulfill certain credit requirements, but also help them on their post-secondary path. Washington, it's a vast state with a broad range of opportunities. So we have tried to grow, and we have successfully grown in Ephrata to offer classes that reach that vast array of opportunities, because, in Grant County, one of our largest industries is agriculture, but across the state, and even now in Grant County, we have, a booming aviation industry, a need for health science careers, hospitality. During COVID, it was evident. One of the silver linings to me was that it was evident that we have a need. The term essential worker came out, and to me, all work is essential. And we couldn't differentiate what was better, what job was better than another, because all work is honorable. So we have, for example, if we talk about business and marketing, since there's only 6 program areas, they themselves are very broad. And in our business classes, we have classes from cybersecurity and computer programming. As some of you may know, that is a booming industry in Grant County now as well, with the data centers. Accounting, we have audiovisual classes that include graphic design, broadcasting, broadcast journalism, yearbook. We offer a class now in sports medicine in conjunction with classes in health science, such as Intro to Health Science Careers and Human Anatomy. We offer welding, we offer construction, we offer floral design, we offer culinary. A lot of our classes, like I kind of alluded to, students an opportunity to meet not just an elective requirement, but maybe a core requirement, such as a math, a science, or an art, but it puts them in a path that's relevant to their post-secondary plan. Some of our classes, such as Teaching Academy and Early Childhood Ed, are really neat because they are so hands-on. We have students that are in classrooms, and they can get their pre-autumn experience from this class taken care of, because they're in classes with teachers learning some of those skills. We have students that travel to our preschool 3 times a week to work with preschool children. And a lot of these students graduate with college credits, and they graduate with a certificate, which may be, first aid, CPR, bloodborne pathogen. We're working on offering forklift certifications. So, there's so many classes that we offer. And at the same time, our teachers that are teaching these classes have industry experience. And that is what's so neat about Ephrata, is you can't replace our teachers. They have a lot of experience. For example, our aviation class is taught by a former Air Force captain, and our construction teacher built his own home. He built it, the whole thing, and came from a background in construction. But many of them are entrepreneurs and industry professionals that really know what they're talking about and make the learning relevant and interesting for our students.
That brings up a good point. You talk about these CT instructors that have experience, within that field, respectively. How do you get them to come into high school all of a sudden and teach?
There are a couple different ways to become a CTE teacher, and some of them do go the college route after high school. Or you can go what's called the industry route. But either way, you need to have experience. So you need to have industry experience to become a CTE teacher. And it can be challenging because teaching maybe isn't the most glamorous or high-paying profession compared to some of these industries. But in Ephrata, we have a very strong culture. We have a family-oriented culture. I know for me personally, coming from a family of small business owners and farmers, I just love being in the school district because it's a hub of our community. My kids are there. I get to see the fruits of my labor for my own children. Now I have a middle schooler that's in 2 CTE classes, and it's just amazing that I'm creating these opportunities for kids, and they're actually my own kids. And so I think it really depends on that person and what they want in their life. But they know that a lot of people know that Ephrata is just a really great place to be.
Oh, yeah. So here's a question, for anybody who is listening to this and maybe a community member not involved in the school districts, if they wanted to reach out to you and potentially have the CTE program work on a project with them, for them, is that something that is applicable? Can you work with the general public on projects?
I just came out of an Ephrata School District leadership team meeting this morning, and our biggest focus was service, because we are a hub of the community, but also the community is so supportive of our school district. There was all around the room people sharing examples of how maybe not necessarily a project like you're talking about, but how we have clubs, and some of these are CTE clubs, FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America, FCCLA, Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, that work with our community to provide service opportunities, whether it's, raking leaves or picking up garbage or hosting a free pumpkin painting community service event. In about a week and a half, we're going to be working with our downtown business on offering trick-or-treating opportunities for people. But yes, definitely, I think it's a two-way, it is a two-way street between our school and our community, but especially technical education, because we are trying to create opportunities for our students to help them network into that next step, find a pathway into post-secondary, and leadership and service are a huge part of that.
Absolutely. Ooh, I couldn't have said it any better. And really, that's how we come together and partner, really trying to make these connections with the careers. So that's why I feel like I'm the luckiest gal in the world, to be doing what I'm doing. So let's dig in a little bit deeper, though. So you've listed, again, so many different classes and courses that these students can take. And I actually was at the high school for one of your advisory meetings, and the certificates were up all around the school. Like you said, hundreds and hundreds of certifications and certs, being earned by the students, which is great. So talk a little bit about, what kind of opportunities these classes open up for students after graduation, especially, as you said, university is terrific. It is not terrific for everybody. So we have our, community colleges, we have our trade schools, but getting exposed to CTE in high school, how does that really open up opportunities for the students after graduation?
Well, as you mentioned, Carrie, I kind of alluded to, we have first aid, CPR, bloodborne pathogen training. We offer certification for our students in Microsoft Office, including Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access. We have some kids that are just soaking up this opportunity to get free certifications that they're going all the way through expert Excel and Word And we have students that are certifying in Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator, Python. What it does is it gives, it's amazing. It gives students some confidence because they have that little piece that they can put on their resume.
Mhm.
Through CTE, they've also probably been to a career fair, a college tour, a guest speaker, a field trip. We were pretty fortunate for you to help us go and see a data center last year, Carrie. That was amazing because students will see those opportunities. They'll have a little bit of confidence because they have, a nugget to put on their resume, and it opens up all kinds of opportunities. And just like you said, it could be straight into work. In some cases, we have a partnership with some different industries in the area that know, especially in welding, hey, this kid came from Ephrata, maybe they earned a Big Bend college credit, or at Perry Tech, we actually have a direct articulation that if they took, the welding courses, that it would satisfy their first course there. And they can go straight to work, or they can go into an apprenticeship 2-year or 4 years. So I think it's the confidence and the exposure that they get in CTE that opens up those opportunities.
Yeah, the tour that you're referring to, I think was really neat too, because the one of the leads in the tour was actually a student who had just graduated, I think literally 3, maybe 4 years prior, and was a local high school student. So, when they see somebody like themselves at that young of an age excelling in these, careers, when we get them out on site, I'm with you again. It's another kind of big confidence boost. Like, yeah, why not me? So that's great. Okay, so you know what? Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's your favorite thing about teaching? And before I let you answer, I want to say, I believe a lot of people outside of teaching and education don't really understand exactly just how difficult it can be and how many multiple hats that you wear. So let's talk about the good side. What's one of your most favorite things?
Well, I did mention that right now it's a unique time for me because I'm starting to have my own personal children come up through these programs that I've worked on for the past 16 years and really more in depth the past 3 years as the CTE director. But as a teacher, it was really neat to see students doing things after they graduate. I have several former students that have gone into business careers. I stay in touch with them a little bit on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We've have students that, as a business teacher, I taught yearbook, photography, web design, Microsoft Office, but I was also an LA advisor, which is Future Business Leaders of America.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun to see those opportunities where students can shine. They can go to a regional or state competition. They can compete in job interview and stand right up against their peers from throughout the state. We had a first place state competitor in insurance, and part of that was because she took a lot of business classes, but she also worked for one of our local insurance agencies, and she was first in the state. So it was just really neat to see some of those simulations and networking opportunities for students, and then what they do after high school. I also talked about the service opportunities. And another thing I didn't mention is Ephrata FBLA is hosting a blood drive next month for our community, and if you aren't aware of how important blood drives can be, look it up. Yes, because they're vitally important. If you have a family member that has ever needed a blood transfusion, it's pretty important. And so for our students to be involved in that and do these great things, it's my favorite thing about teaching and being involved in education.
Yeah, that's terrific. So when is the blood drive?
So the blood drive, there's actually a local blood drive for one of our students coming up. That's not hosted. We already had this one scheduled for November. So the one that's in Ephrata that you can sign up on by Talent site that will benefit, that the FBLA students are coordinating, is on November 18th. Okay. We have a student that is in critical care right now from a car accident that had to receive, I think it was 20 units of blood. And so just coincidence and timing, but there'll be 2 blood drives actually in Ephrata in the near future. So if you want more information on that, contact me. We'll get you signed up. Not everyone can donate blood. Not everybody, that maybe that's not in their wheelhouse, but some of our students, our graphic design classes, they're creating the posters, they're marketing it, they're organizing, they're doing these different things to create that opportunity. And it's all of those leadership components that are pretty neat.
Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah, that is really terrific. So maybe before the end of the interview, maybe what we could do is have you pop your email address into the chat, and then that way people can access it. If they have questions about how they can get involved, or even just be there to give blood, to donate blood. So yeah, that's terrific. All right, so we've talked a little bit about service and a little bit about the symbiotic relation between the community and the school. And I'm kind of your neighbor. I live out in George. My kids went to Quincy, but I definitely, you can see from the outside of the community that your community participates. And I think that's amazing. So hats off to the town, but there's always more to be done, right? We know that, like I said, you wear multiple hats. You're very, very busy. So let's talk a little bit about what's a good way to get involved with the high school, specifically with your CTE programs. If somebody out there listening, really wants to hear more about that, what are your most immediate needs? And then what are, maybe like the long-term needs that you have for CTE?
In CTE, we work with our local community in a couple of different ways. One of those is advisory committees. Mm-hmm. So what we do is some different meetings, and Carrie, I'm thankful that you've been to those. They are meetings, but they're also an opportunity for us to have a two-way relationship with our community, because we are trying to create the next generation of the workforce, and we need to hear from our partners, whether it's a business owner or an educational institution or a parent, just in general, about what they are seeing in the workforce and what they would like to see from our students. And a lot of that is honestly, a focus is just on work skills and how do we incorporate that into our classes, because we are trying to simulate a real world experience. So having people attend our advisory committee meetings, and more than just meetings, be an open relationship, two-way street, to maybe provide opportunities for guest speakers or field trips. A teacher sometimes can say something to the class every day, and it's not quite the same when someone else comes in and says it. But again, what we would like to know how we can benefit the workforce as well. And you, Carrie, I just have to say thank you, because you have been a great resource for helping us make those connections, bringing people into our advisory committees, setting up these opportunities such as field trips. But you are making connections between industry and educators and really, really walking the talk for career connected learning. And it is making the difference. So I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Like I said, I feel like one of the luckiest gals in the world, getting to do this work. There are days where and maybe I shouldn't say this on a recorded interview, but some days where I feel like it's a little bit of a boondoggle. Like, is this really my job? I get to do this today. So yeah, but you know what? It takes a team, right? It takes a village, just like anything. So thank you very much. And we do have a team, Dr. Sue Kane, Tammy McBride, Linda DeZelam. We've got a really great team with NCSD and are lucky to do the work. So, but that's the thing too, is we come in and we have these opportunities, but here's the gist of it is we're actually creating a little bit more work for you every time you pick up the phone from us or let us show up in your office. But we appreciate the partnership, that's for sure. So well, you know what, I feel like we're kind of coming to a close on the messaging that we really wanted to get across today. If there's anybody in the audience that wants to ask a question, you can do that. However, just as a little housekeeping, I want to make sure that I say This will be posted. This is being recorded. We will put it up on our Apple STEM Network YouTube page. We'll send it out to our industry and community partners as well as our school districts. I think it's a great, it's just a great tool to learn a little bit more about each of our districts. So yeah, if there's anybody out there that has a comment they want to make, go for it.
That's directed toward me, isn't it, Carrie?
Well, not necessarily, but when the camera came on, I was like, oh, maybe she wants to talk. I should be quiet.
I just want to say, Sarah, you've done a fantastic job of representing CTE and all that it entails and educating the community on this video. Carrie, I'm glad you connected with Sarah because this has been great to listen to, and you've been a great spokesperson for all of us, Sarah. And I just want to also give a shout out that if there's any community people watching this, that, Ephrata needs assistance, Quincy needs assistance, Moses Lake needs assistance, Wenatchee. I mean, it's all the school districts around here. And again, thank you, Sarah, for representing all of us so well.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really great comment too. The footprint that we cover and the work that we do for career connected learning is really about 29 different school districts. And so when you hear this from Sarah and Ephrata High School today, know that if you're listening to this and you're in Tonasket, yep, we need you. If you're in Warden, yep, we need you. If you're in Wenatchee, yep, you too. There's just so many opportunities to kind of step in, and there are light lifts and there are heavy lifts, as with everything in life. But when it comes to CTE and preparing our students for future careers in your businesses, there's no better way, and really, I think, to be honest, no easier way to really make a quick impact on quite a few students. So that's my 2 cents too. But so we are very appreciative of the work that both of you are doing, and all the other CTE directors and teachers out there. So. Well, I think what I'm going to do then is I think I'm going to call it. We're going to give you guys back 4 minutes of your day. Sarah, you were phenomenal. Thank you for doing this. I know it's not easy to sit in the hot seat on the other side, but you did terrific. And like I said, CTE at Ephrata High School is off the charts. You guys are doing amazing things, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you. So, and great job last night at the Legislative Forum. That was really great. Stepping up and asking a question and hopefully really getting the answer that you were looking for. So our schools need support from our legislatures. So that's awesome. So all right, everybody, thank you very much. I appreciate you all coming to the NCW MVP series. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great day.